Okay guys, let's get into talking about transplanting your plants. Now remember I said, if you watched some of my other videos, hopefully you did, that these ladies all found me this year. I had no intentions of growing outdoors this year at all. But for some reason, cannabis finds you. She knows you're passionate. She knows you'll take care of her. And I've been doing this since 1987. And I'm very passionate about the plant. And how do you say no to these orphans? They needed a home. I had to do it. I had to do it. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? Oh man, somebody saw my videos, a close friend, Ed Growing. Incredible grower. See, I'm in a network of growers that are real passionate, been doing it for a long time. And we all had to learn the hard way. Like some of you watching this video, you know, and some you don't, and it's okay. We're all family here. We're part of the tribe. And there's no judgment here. And I don't have all the answers. I don't claim to. What I do have is a lot of bruises and scratches, and I've been banged up a lot. Growing this plant and trying to hide underground and not tell anybody that what you're doing. Dude, it was one of the hardest things I ever did. You're growing the dank in the early 90s and you couldn't tell anybody, your closest friend. Because if you did, guess what? He tells his closest friend and he tells 10 people. Next thing you know, everybody knows what you're doing. And it's not a secret anymore and you can't be private. But now, it's legal everywhere. Well, just about everywhere. And it's like, it's okay. It's a sacred plant. It's a gift from God. It has healing properties. You guys know the vibes, right? Well, let's dive into it because another box showed up. And I'll tell you, the genetics in here are really interesting. I'm very excited. Thanks, Ed. I appreciate you, brother. I really do. I said, listen, I'll take 4. He says, I got 6 teens. They need a home because I don't have room for them. And I'm like, I'll take 4. And he brings a box of 6. He says, well, if you don't want the others, throw it out. Yeah, right. Like I'm going to throw it out. All right. So I had these. Let me just tell you, I got them and I'm looking at them like, okay, no problem. I'll just water them tonight. And I'll do it this weekend. I'll do the transplants. These things are sitting here like, look at this thing. It's in these little tiny pots, this size right here. So they're drying out like every day, and they're in cocoa. So cocoa coir dries out really fast, and you have to be feeding it your minerals. You have to feed every day. You have to water them every day, especially when they're this big because they drink so fast. Now, I left this one here purposely. Some of you that are seeing this right now go, oh, she needs water. That's right. Some of you that are new that are watching the channel because you want to learn, all right? This is the City Grown, Growing in the City educational series by Joey D. All right, diving into it. Look at that. See how they're sagging down? This is the clear indicator that she's struggling right now. When you see them tipped up, she's out of water, okay? So it's very, very light. That's another way you can pick it up. I call it the arm scale. So you can lift up your pot by the arm scale. You can stick your finger down in it, but this is as blatant and as obvious as it gets. But I wanted to show you that. I didn't water her today, unfortunately. I watered the others, but I needed this as an example to teach the new growers. Remember, guys, we got to help our brothers and sisters out by teaching them the things that we learned. And you say, hey, listen, this is what I figured out. You know she needs water. So I'm going to give her a quick drink right now because my heart is sinking just seeing that like that. But I had to do it till I could get set up to do this little video for you guys. This is my hose end water filter. This squeezes out all the impurities, the chloramines, the chlorines, all the cacas. Now, somebody asked the other day, does it pH it? No, it doesn't pH the water, and pH is an optimal thing, but coming out of this town's water, it's at about 6.8, 6.9, so it's within tolerance. You want to be between 6.0 and 7.0 in your pH. What does that mean? Potential of hydrogen. It's a scale of 0 to 14. 7 is neutral, below 7 is acidic, above it is alkaline. Your cannabis plants like it a little bit on the acidic side, like your tomatoes do, merit tomatoes. Your tomatoes like a little acidity too. And the acidity, or that range between 6.0 and 7.0, now if you're growing organically, I like to be between 6.2 and 6.5 in the veg cycle. I go a little bit lower, like around 6 to 6.2 in the flower cycle. And basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to optimize the absorption of the minerals that the plant's going to uptake into it. Now, let's get into this part right here. Let's just get a little water on this little baby. Oh, she's going, oh my God. It's going to take probably about an hour or so for it to actually absorb. Look at that, it's starting to stand up straight now. And it's going to water through because it's cocoa coir. Let's give you a little drink because you're hanging out here. You're cool too. All right, might as well give everybody a little sip. I did a sip earlier, but I'm about to do a transplant. Let's get this one nice and wet because it needs it. And these ones are just hanging over here. Let's go like that. Let's get a little water in. Now, normally, if I'm transplanting, I'm not watering before transplant. Okay, I know what somebody's watching. Hey, you're gonna make them up? No, these are in cocoa, and you can see it's nothing but a root ball. Check that out. That's all roots. This one can't even stand up straight. It's so dry. But let me see if I can get some water in it this way. I really can't. All right, we'll get back to that in a second. But what we're going to talk about is transplanting. Now, with cannabis, you can go into the grocery store, and man, your wallet's going to pucker up and it's going to throb, and you go like, oh my God, it costs so much money to grow weed. No, it doesn't have to. There's techniques and ways to do it where you can do it very conservatively, and I'm a conservative guy. I hate to waste money on stuff that I want to buy right, and believe me, when you go into a grocery store, they can guide you. You know, just say, listen, I'm on a budget. Here's my numbers. This is where I need to be. Don't get overexcited because you'll spend a fortune. There's different ways of doing it. Now, when these came in, I'm like, okay, now I got to invest more money. I got to transplant them. All right, that's okay. I can deal with that. But I got 6 plants, and then I'm thinking to myself, okay, they're in these little tiny half-quart size starters, right? This is nothing. And you can see it's got a nice healthy root ball. It's all around the sides. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for nice, healthy roots. We're not looking for any root rot or any type of bugs. So you want to inspect it, take a good look at it, make sure you got no root aphids, and if you do, you're going to have to address it and deal with it. But anyways, I'm going to transplant. I'm thinking to myself, okay, do I want to go into 30-gallon pots right away? No, because it's going to cost me a bundle in soil. I don't want to go there. Besides, it's too late in the season. Right now, I think it's about the 10th. Yeah, it's July 10th. So we've only got like another 4 weeks before the plants begin that early transition into flowering. So right around mid-August, towards the end of August, they start that transitional period. They start, stretching, and they start with, regenerative, they call it. That means they'll begin their early flower. You'll see the little white hairs come out of the bract. This is the bract. The little white hairs come out. These are green. I know these are green. I know. You get the point. They're little white hairs. They're trying to collect pollen, if there's pollen present. So the plant can actually regenerate by growing a seed. But guess what? We're growing sensimilia. You know what that means? That's a Spanish word. That means without seed. Sensimilia. So we're growing sensimilia. Now, in the early days, I'm going to go back in the Wayback Machine with a second with you guys. Because back in the 80s, when we finally got a little bit of sensimilia come through the neighborhood, it was rare. The greenweed, that fluorescent greenweed came through. We just thought that when it had red hairs, because we never saw red hairs, because we had brown pressed Mexican weed. Outdoor grown stuff. We didn't ever saw the red hairs, So basically we thought if it had red hairs, it was sensimilia. Probably because it was a female plant and it wasn't seeded. All right, that's your sensi. All right, so let's dive into how do I do it on a conservative budget. Now, you can see here, I've got a whole bunch of plastic bags. All right, there's a technique of using plastic bags. I'm going to show you real quick, and I'm going to show you pots. You can see here, and I've just got to go around and do the rest of these. This is a 10-gallon plastic bag. It's perforated. That means it's got holes, and it's square, so it sits nicely. Those are 10 gallons. So these ones will stay in 10 gallons for the season. The big gray ones are 30 gallons, but they're much bigger plants. They have a bigger root ball. So when I do a transition, I'm going to go at least 3-4 times the size of the starting one. Those were in 5-gallon pots. I thought they were in 7s, but they were in 5s. And I went up to 30s, which gives me a lot of fresh soil around it. And I've added some other goodies. I'm going to show you guys that too. There's some other things I'd love to add in, but I don't want this thing to cost me a fortune to do, so I'm going to do it conservatively. When I do the indoors, that's going to be different. This season we'll be doing an indoors educational series. I'll show you that stuff. But the black bag, when it sits out in the sun, it's going to get superheated by the sun. Now the sun is coming at this angle. All right, so it comes up from behind me, it goes over. Right now it's past the trees and it's a little bit overcast right now. You can see it's a little bit cloudy up there. And the sun's now over there. It's actually right behind that cloud right there. But when it's getting hit by the sun, it gets superheated, which you're going to cook the soil. You're going to kill the life in the soil, the microorganisms, the bacteria, the fungi, the mycorrhizae. We don't want to do that. So we put a white kitchen trash bag on it, right? And it basically blocks that sun. So this just has to be taped on, basically. And just put it on the side that the sun's hitting it and keep it from getting cooked. Now, I'm going to put it all around, because one of the tricks you learn about growing cannabis, especially outdoors in the sun, even indoors, if you're in individuals, that's why I don't use trellis netting. I use stakes. I stake them all out so I can turn these. So each day I turn this either a quarter turn or a half turn. So they keep rotating as I go through the cycle. And that means, because the sun is coming up, it's coming up this way and going over, I want to make sure it's getting even light at most optimal lighting of the day. So each day I'll come out and give them a little turn, check them and inspect them, love them, say I love you, give me some more. All right, now back to conservative ways of doing this. All right, these are all different types of grow bags. Now for years, I used your traditional plastic pots. Inexpensive, get them at a nursery center. This is a 3-gallon pot, it's brand new, hasn't been used. I don't know if I'll use it, maybe I will at some point, but I had thousands of these, stacks of them, all different sizes, from a 1/2 gallon all the way up to 30 gallons. I had stacks and stacks of these. Now when you use them and reuse them, here's the thing, not knowing what we didn't know in the old days, that plants can get ill. They can have they can have viral loads, they can have hops latent viroid. Today, that's a big problem. Did you know that they estimate that the nationwide infection rates is somewhere around 40%? That is not good. That means we're spreading, we're not doing good protocols, bro. We got to tighten up on that. We'll have a different one on that. I posted something on my Instagram. You should go back and watch it, talking about it. But if I'm going to reuse plastic pots, some of you that are using these, you've got to bleach them. So you got to clean out the dirt first, just wash it out, and then you got to soak them in at least, I would have to say, at least a 10% bleach solution. I would probably go up 15 to 20% and just soak them for at least a minute or two, so it kills any pathogens. Now, the roots is always where you're going to find hops latent viroid. So when you're doing a test, we used to do petiole testing. So we used to go into the petiole right here. Okay, if you don't know, that section right there is the petiole. So we'd cut the leaves off, we take that section and basically grind it down with a pistol, and we take a whole bunch of them, get the juice from there, and you do it in different sites on the plant. We'd also do a root sample, but you'd always find if it does have an infection, you'll always show up in the roots for the most part. And you can deal with companies like Toomey Genomics and others that will do testing for you. Now, so that's why if you're reusing your pots, you do have to sterilize them. It's critical that you do that. So I don't do that because I'm using these bags and I can recycle them and they're cheap. Look at this, 2-gallon bags. This is 2-gallon bag, 25 bags in here for $8. That's when I bought it. That was probably bought a year or two ago. So it might be a little bit more now because of the time value of money. These are 7-gallon pots, 25 bags for $16. Right? Those pots there today are $3 a piece. So it adds up, as you can see. 5-gallon bags, 25 there. Oops. So I've got 1/2 gallon. These are great. I can get 100 bags for like $8. These are great for starting in the season when you're getting a bunch of clones going and stuff like that. 1 gallons, 2 gallons. Today we're probably going to transfer these little ladies into the 2 gallons. I might go to the 5s, but I'll probably do the 2s and let it stabilize, get a root system, and then I'll make it go a little bit bigger. Because these ones here behind me, I'm really interested in taking clones off of them. Not so much as, I don't know if I have enough time to get them really big for the outdoors, but enough to get clones off of them for sure. Great genetics. So I've got 1/2 gallons, 1 gallon, 2 gallon, 5 gallons, 7 gallons, and then 10 gallons. So inexpensive way of doing it. And today we're going to do that transplant. So I'll go to the 2-gallon pots. I want enough fresh soil around this sucker so that the roots can expand and I can get a nice root ball. And now the challenge I have is this was being fed salts, minerals, right? And I'm going to go to organics. That means I'm going to go to soil. Well, there's no relationship yet. Hello? We got no relationship. So we got no food coming in. So I'm going to make sure I have a little bit of food that can go in that's inorganic, but it'll become available very quickly. First off, I went out today. I had to go out today. Instead of going to my local grocery store, I went to a garden center, and I was able to get myself some decent soil. Coast of Maine, you know, I'm a fan of Coast of Maine. It's a good product. They make some really good soils, but some of them can be a little bit on the pricier side. I looked at some there, they were like $34, $35. I'm like, no way, baby. I got this thing for like $20. This is 2 cubic yards, which means about 12 gallons of material, right? So I just poured some, and this has got some really good stuff in it. Let me just tip this over to show you guys. Oh, without spilling it, because I'm gonna need to use it. So it's enriched with compost, lobster and crab shell meal, kelp meal, worm castings, mycorrhizae. There's your relationship with the roots. I need that right away. Those will attract to the roots and begin to expand the roots. But this is a really good, decent soil, especially for the price to get started with. Now you'll notice this is great for raised beds and stuff. Let's take a look at it. It's really good, rich soil, but the problem I would say is there's no perlite in here. Now perlite is going to be needed. Now what I like to do is break up these big clumps. This is just a little mixing bucket I like to use if I'm making a special blend. In this case here I am. I'm going to take these and break them down. So I'll just run my hands through these and and just break this stuff down and get all that clumping out of it. Because I don't want big clumps in my bags. I want it to be nice and smooth. So it's easy to work in a little tray like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the perlite. All right, so this is a good opportunity. So depending on how you like your perlite, meaning how much you like. Now a lot of soils have perlite in it. Now one thing that I like about Roots Organics, their originals and their 707s, they have copious amounts of perlite. Perlite, you don't know about perlite? You're new at growing? Cool, let me teach you something. When this root ball gets big, okay, and you're in a, think of this as a big pot, it's going to be loaded and packed with roots if I did a good job, okay? So if I did a good job managing the soils and managing the roots, because bigger the roots, bigger the fruits, right? And we're looking for flower at the end. So we want a good healthy root system. And what's going to happen is this going to get compaction, you're going to get root bound, and when you have perlite, okay, this is it, lightweight soil conditioner to improve soil aeration. So aeration means if I have a very compact soil, the air is not getting here, and out in the nature we have, that's right, you knew it, right? You remember from my last video? We talked about there's nitrogen in the air. There's going to be nitrogen and stuff in the little goody goodies I'm going to put in there, but there's nitrogen in the air, and if it's too compact, it can't get in here. And also when I go to water it, it's going to just sit on top. It's going to sit there and it's going to take forever to leach through. But what I'm going to add is probably 20 to 30% perlite into this mix, which is going to give me that aeration I need and the drainage that I need, so I have a really good quality soil. Everything else is there. It's just missing the perlite, which is great. I can add my own. Now, you might not know this, and some of you guys have been growing for a while. Nobody told you. The dust coming from that is foo-foo for your lungs. Not good at all. You gotta have an N95, at least an N95 dust mask, all right? Now I have respirators and stuff like that when I'm working indoors, but for outdoors, for this project, I'm just gonna put the N95 on. And this little metal thing, did you know that? It's for squeezing around your nose. You squeeze it, it's aluminum. So that way you have a nice tight fit, even though this has a foamy in here. The reason I'm spending some time on this is because when you pour that out, it's gonna have a whole bunch of dust, right? And that dust is really bad for your lungs, so do not breathe it. Now you can wet it down and stop it that way if you don't have one of these handy. You can do that. It just makes a mess to work with. It's easier if it's dry. So just go get a little pack of these. They're cheap. It's an N95. It's going to squeeze out all that dust. I'm not going to get my lungs fucked up, right? So let me see if I can get this thing on with one hand. Well, I'm talking to you guys. And I might sound just a little bit funny. I'm pinching the nose now. As you can hear, it's nice and tight. Now I'm going to take the perlite, and I'm going to put a copious amount of, see all that dust coming out? That dust is no good for the lungs, my bro, okay? I'm just trying to save your life. All right, so I'm going to put a really good amount in there. So I have enough in this bag to be able to, now you can get in here with your hands or your trusty little shovel. And just start working it in, just curl it in, you know? Mix that in. Look at that, it snowed out. But when I'm done mixing this, it's gonna look beautiful. Oh my God, this is gonna be killer. Killer, killer, killer. So I'm making my own soil. Then once I'm done mixing it, and I mix this all in real nice. Now, if you don't have a handy shovel, just get your hands in there. Just start working it. Just working. It gives you an opportunity to grab the lumps inside. Again, you want to make sure it's mixed really nice. Look at that. Oh God. I get excited about this stuff. I remember my first bag of soil I bought in 1987. I really do. I remember the smell. And you know what I used to think when I started growing, I started seeing some dank, and I was like, holy shit, I'd love to get some soil from Hawaii. Then I can call it Hawaiian. Oh, volcanic ash and all that stuff. Oh my God. I used to dream about that. All right, so this has to be worked for a few minutes. You can see it mixes in pretty good, but you want to see, when you see a lot of dark, that means you don't have enough in that section, so just keep working it. Make sure that's there. I might put a little bit more in, but it's looking pretty damn good. Just want to make sure the bottom's turned up, you know. So you go like this. Just go like, yeah, this is probably going to need a little bit more. I'm not going to do that right now with you guys because I don't want to keep you on the video for too long. But I appreciate you like, share, subscribe. You know that shit, right?
because we got to get the word out. You know, I don't know if you know this, but they shadow ban guys like me. They don't want this information getting out, because when it does, people discover these natural cures, these things that help your body heal itself. And cannabis has a lot of medicinal properties. You'll see the videos on that soon. I'll be doing some different products, fecal oils, butters, tinctures, gummies, all that sort of stuff, magical stuff. And by the way, the roots, you can make a salve out of these roots. You can boil these roots in coconut oil and get an extraction. There's a compound called Friedlin. Friedlin is an anti-inflammatory compound similar to CBD, cannabidiol, which is an anti-inflammatory cannabinoid. So there's benefits from the roots all the way to the top. The stalks and stems get composted and they go out to your garden. All right, so we got a nice looking soil. It's looking pretty damn good. I might, like I said, I'm probably gonna add a little bit more perlite. Now I can take my dust mask off because I am sweating out. All right, get this thing off. Whew. Yeah, try covering your face in a 85-degree day. You're nasty. All right, so I'm not breathing any dust. This is looking good. Now I'm gonna go on to one more thing before I begin the transplants, and I'm not gonna keep you on the video for that. But I came across this year by Botanicare. Organic here. I like organics. I love organics. I grew up on organics. I'm not opposed to minerals either, or salts. Some of you have foo-foo on the salt, guys. Well, I'll tell you what, the plant takes the same minerals up, whether it's from the relationship in the soil or direct, you know, through cation exchange. That means ion exchange of minerals to the roots, positive, negatively charged, yada, yada, yada. But this is an organic, natural fertilizer, a modern fertilizer for modern growers. Well, I'm a modern grower, at least I think I am. It's a 5-7-10. I know, dude, I know you don't know what those numbers are. A whole bunch of you do, though. 5-7-10. You see that on all the bottles and all the boxes. What does that mean? That's the NPK ratios. Nitrogen is N, P is phosphorus, right? And 10 is potassium, potash. Those are the macronutrients that your plants need. So there's a guide when you're looking at it, like, oh, this is a bloom formula. Now they have a grow formula, but because where I'm starting in the time cycle right now, I'm not going to use the grow because it's pretty close to the bloom as far as its relationship and its ratios. And one of the things I like to do when I'm looking at any nutrient, I'm like, okay, where'd you get it? Where'd it come from? Just read the damn package, bro. Read the package. It's right there. You can stop the video and read it. It's like, that's all goodness. That is the goodness. You want to make sure there's a lot of calcium in it too, because calcium is important. Magnesium, sulfur, potash, nitrates, all the nitrogens, you know, ammoniacal, nitrate, nitrogen, water soluble, non-water soluble. So you want to have all the goody goodies. So I'm going to be sprinkling this in. So as I do the transplants, I'm going to be taking a few scoops. I'm going to work it into the soil, and then I'm also going to top dress it. And this will slowly break down and become part of the soil itself, so it'll be a lot of nutrition available. So this will start drinking pretty quickly, and it'll start a relationship probably within a week. We'll start to see nice fresh green growth. It's the same thing that we did on these plants here. You can see these were all in cocoa being fed salts, and now you can see some nice lush happy green sections here right in the very top here. This is where you look at the course corrections you make. You can see these, and they're tacoing. You know what a taco? See how it curls up there? That's taco. Very defined, very vibrant green, nice fresh. That means we're starting to get a relationship in the soil, and we're starting that plant starting to transition from salts to organics. You can see them with this one. You can see that relationship. It's going really nice. And all the other ladies are doing good. So these are all adopted plants. They found me. I can't escape. And my situation changed, so I have a nice little piece of property. I got guard dogs here that are attack grade, police trained, and all fenced in. And then, of course, everyone should have a wireless hole punch just in case. Just kidding. Maybe not. Anyways, so everything's looking nice and happy, except for that little damage there, but that was a few nights ago. I don't see any new damage, which is good. And tomorrow I'll be at the grow store picking up several different products. I'm going to get the caterpillar killer because I've seen the moths flying around. I'm going to get Lost Coast plant therapy, really good. I love that product. Or trifecta, both really good products. There's so many choices. It's just understanding which one serves you and what challenge you have, and based on where you are and what you have for predation, that means bugs basically, or pressure of bugs. What do you need? Not everybody needs the same stuff, but it's all pretty close. And I noticed this morning, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm starting to get close to the 9 leafers on this one. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, there's a 9 leafer. 9 leaves on that one. Pretty cool. And I just love the looks of these. I love the serrated edges, the tacoing effect, and the smell. If you do a stem rub, oh man, the smell is beautiful. And you'll notice some leaves are thinner. Some leaves are a little wider. So these are your hybrids. They're mixtures of different genetics. Now I'm going to be working on a new genetic program. I built the software over the last month, and I'm going to be beginning probably in the next few weeks, beginning a new breeding project. I call it pollen chucking. I don't classify myself as a breeder, but some would say, man, you made some really good stuff. Well, I like this one and I like that one, and I imagine if I could get them together, what would happen with their, offspring? Would it be really cool? It would just be, all right, it's okay. But if it's wow, and people go, "Can you get any more?" Then there's your judge, man. The real judge is the consumer. And by the way, the consumer is spoiled fucking rotten. I'm just kidding. You guys, you get 400 different choices. When I grew up, it was either brown or green, and mostly brown. And was it pressed or unpressed? Hopefully it wasn't pressed, because it was pressed. It was loaded with seeds, lumber, and it was trash. We called it the good earth. That means it was dirt weed. Now, one of the things I did this morning to manipulate this plant is I put one of my little clip buddies in there. These things are the beans, man. If you don't have these, you should get them. So that's one way of doing your low stress training. You bend it over. I did this morning. You can see it's all like, hey, I'm a little pissed. Over the next day or two, this will turn up, and all the innards will turn up. But it opens up the canopy for more light. More light, more photons, more photosynthesis, more carbohydrates, and overnight she'll process that energy and turn it into sugars, and those sugars are happiness, and then she's going to leak some of those sugars down through the roots called exudates, which is going to attract the microorganisms and the fungi down there to help serve the plant, right? She feeds the soil along with me. I step in, hey, don't you worry, I got your back. I'm going to put some new workers here each week. I'm going to use, like some recharge, and I'm going to put some other microorganisms in there. I'm going to use some P31. I'm going to make sure you got some silica. I'm going to give you the goodies you need, right? And I'm going to work alongside her with the soil to make sure the soil has everything that she needs when she needs it. Because when I do that, she says, thank you very much. And at the end of the season, I said, thank you. I really appreciate you. I'll see you next year. Anyways, guys, you can see I get passionate about my cannabis plants, and really passionate about my genetics. So look for those videos coming up soon. And hey, go over to the IG. I put a lot of fresh content there. The YouTube I had to put aside. I was just too busy with other stuff, projects, South America and other things, and I just didn't have the capacity or the time. But Instagram, you just flip it on and go. But when you do YouTube, you got to do horizontal. Right now my phone's horizontal. When I do YouTube, it's vertical. And I know this program's for conversion, but it doesn't look the same. It's not as good quality. I shoot in 4K at 60 frames a second, so I have a decent quality. But anyways, I got to get to work, guys. And I appreciate you watching. Don't forget to put on the notification bells. Tell a friend. Share it with somebody. If you find it interesting, say, how you doing? Check out Joe Baby from City Grown. He's got the Growing in the City series. He's sharing the knowledge. When I came out of that proverbial grower's closet in 2012, I was like, man, I don't know. Am I going to get in trouble for telling people how to grow the sacred plant? And some of the things I've learned along the way. And I'm still learning, always learning. There's always some incredible growers out there, and I'd love to learn from them. So I'm not here to claim I have all the answers. I'm here to claim that I've had a lot of bruises, and they've served me well. So right now, we're going to get into these. Oh, you know what I forgot to tell you, because I know you're interested. What did you get? What came in this package? Let me show you. Some of the stuff is freaking fire. I'll try to post some videos that I have saved on my phone. They're shot in horizontal though, but I'll post them up so you guys can see them from Ed the Grower. Ed Growen has some incredible cookies and cream. Okay, all right, she's good, she's fire. And he knows how to select the genetics. Let's see what he's got here. Dog Walker OG is a classic. Yep, the Dog Walker. I need one for the Dog Walker. What do we got here? We got Animal Face. Let's see, this one here. Oh, this one is going to be this might even make it into my breeding project, because I've done this with Mac before. black ice. So from what I understand, this is Oreo cookie and Mac 1, I believe it is. I'll double check that. But it is frosty AF. Yeah, you know what the AF stands for. It's frosty. I did the Mac. I ran the Mac for about 4 years. It was gifted me by another grower who said, hey, it's only gifted to the worthy. And I'm like, man, am I worthy? And he says, yeah, you are. I took that and I crossed the Mac because they said, oh, it doesn't take pollen. It doesn't do seeds. I'm like, okay, let me try that theory. And it did, but it doesn't mature seeds. You could have 1,000 seeds. You might get like 25 that are viable. And I did a nice cross with skunk number 1. So I went back in time with the skunk number 1 project. I crossed that with about a dozen different plants. And I did come up with some nice unicorns. And Mac 1 with the skunk 1 was freaking killer. Frosty. Because Mac grows these nice little nuggets, right? I call them golf balls. And the skunk grows more of a elongated, and when I did that, I got the elongation, I got the frostiness, I got the flavor, and I got the wow factor. And the peeps said, hey, you got any more of that? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll grow that for a while. Anyways, guys, I got to get going, and I appreciate your time, appreciate hanging out with me, and as always, may those resins bless your bowl today. Peace, happy growing. Don't forget, sharing, well, truly is caring. See ya.